somebody or whoever. Take 2. All right. I think I'm going to close this door here. All right, ladies. Thank you for your patience. Just wanted to check in with Paul and Emma online and the cat. The cats. Okay, let's start in a comfortable seated position. You can sit on something. And for a moment, just close your eyes. You could even practice the entire hour with your eyes closed. But to start our practice, let's really consciously decide, okay, the outer world is the outer world. Let's let that be and arrive. And with the next couple of rounds of breaths, just let the day. I find that with sitting still and taking moments of pause, it's almost like my attention is very much focused. I've been busy, and then when I start to focus on my breath, be still, it almost disappears to the background or completely disappears, which takes a little bit of time. So let's take a deep breath in and a nice sigh out. Again, nice breath in, nice breath out. And we'll change the breathing. So slowly breathe in, then hold the breath. Slowly breathe out and hold the breath. Empty, okay? Inhale, fill up, hold, soften, stay. Breathe out. Hold, we call this a breath restriction. This is a kumbhaka, we call that, on the in or the exhale. We'll do this for a couple more rounds to really connect. Breathe in. Stay with your breath. Notice the sensations of being full. Hold. Breathe out. Hold the exhale, breath retention. Soften the jaw. Last round, inhale. Slowly hold. Exhale. Hold. And then breathe slowly in. And slowly out. Deepen and lengthen the breath. Know and notice by just doing that pranayama exercise, how your attention has already changed. How you feel might have already slightly changed. So you know that you can always come back to your breath. And when you wander, the mind goes elsewhere, that's okay. But we can just bring it back, anchor it back into the breath. Coming to the end of the week, we've probably been outward focused, doing focus. What is the intention for the practice? What is the energy? And an intention is also, can be a gift to self. I'm going to allow myself to be still. Not necessarily a task, I have to be still. I'm allowing myself to be still, what a gift. To find the time to connect, to breathe. To reset, to restore. So it feels a little bit like this is a bridge towards the weekend. Yes, we have one more day, but we can already start to feel the end of the week coming, the beginning of the weekend arriving soon. And what is it that we want to get out of each day? The theme of our Vinyasa class on Tuesday was Carpe Diem, which we speak about so often. But in a sense, every breath, every moment is a gift. It never comes back. Every single day is unique. So can we make the best out of it every day, whether it's an amazing day, a challenging day, even embracing the challenges and showing up for ourselves to the fullest of what we can give. Seize the day, carpe diem. Seize this moment, seize the breath. That could be your intention, to be present, to enjoy, to see each moment and conversation and each day as a gift. Maybe you have your own intention or dedication. A ritual is to place the hands together. That's an option. It is your own personal ritual in a sense that you can create meaning behind this gesture. It could be a prayer. It could be a moment of gratitude. It could be a connection and a willingness to open through the heart. You can bring your own meaning to every ritual in life and every ritual in yoga. One more deep breath in, slow breath in. And a soft breath out. Option to keep the eyes closed. So if you just quickly want to peek, we can start to bring our right leg out to the side. The left leg can bend. And I'm going to place something under that knee. Like you, Margarita, I actually very open in the hips. You know, we can almost put the, and I often feel that I'm almost hanging in the joints. So for me, it allows it to rest, but not to, almost like a little bit too far. So it works for me. It doesn't necessarily have to work for you. And then you can use a prop on top of your leg. Maybe it's a block. It's also possible to place a block. This is a little bit low. On top of the leg is also possible. It is nice for you to be able to relax your head. Do you have a block, friend? Would you like this one? Sorry? Yeah, that's fine. We've got many. It's a nice one. It's a nice block. It's my favorite one, and I'll happily share it with you. Of course. And then find that stillness. A little bit of arrangement, a little bit of adjustment. And come back to that breath. I like the mantra, breathe in slow. Breathe out soft. And just keep reminding yourself is slow inhale. Soft exhale. And there's a lot to say about determining something. Like I can feel it slow and soft. And if you're like, I'm not sure if it's slow or soft, it doesn't feel like it, just imagine it. There's something really beautiful about imagining. Can the next inhale be slower and softer? I love philosophy and I love the wisdom that gets passed on, but specifically also the patterns that exist. If I even read my Stoic book, it's so old and it's still the same. Some of the philosophers from so long ago, what they were dealing with can still be translated today, even though we live in such a faster world, more digital, more IT related world. The big patterns of life and the principles stay the same. Like in Bali, the forces of life, birth, life, death, the forces of nature, sunrise, midday, sunset, the seasons, the cycles. There's actually a lot in the patterns that is in common amongst us and even amongst how they used to live and how we live. And Carpe Diem is also still very, very, very current. What does it mean to you? Let your soul shoulders soften, let your head rest and your brain relax. Take a couple more rounds of breath here. On the next inhale, slowly roll all the way up. Okay, I just have to remember that it's your right leg and front, it was your left leg. So that we don't do the same side twice. Let's come onto our backs. So you remember that, friend, that it was your left leg. Cool. Then we do the other side soon. Come onto your backs. Take a moment here to connect again with your slow breaths in and your soft breaths out. Let's place our right ankle on top of our left thigh. And then bring your hands behind your left thigh. Let the shoulders draw down towards the ears. Sometimes I shimmy my head, chin a little in so A soft, really conscious positioning of the body. Yes, the lower body, the foot and the knees and the hands are in place, but can we then translate maybe some compensation of the shoulders lifting up to the ears, or a sense, I even sometimes lift, press into my head and the shoulder blades lift off the floor, draw the shoulders down in a way, so the shoulders are away from the ears, then place my upper body back onto the floor, chin a little in, and then it's like, okay, I'm here, now I can rest and be. The yin to the yang, the being. The more I speak with my yoga teachers that also teach yin, or they teach multiple styles of yoga, and the more you get in tune with your own personal energy and also with the collective energy of our society and all the things that are expected from us, the more we come into discussions amongst teachers or you know, people that enjoy the holistic space. It's like, oh, we need to bring more yin to society. The society is craving for yin. They're not aware of it necessarily because it's become completely unknown, completely uncomfortable to just be, to sit under a tree and just do nothing. And yes, we relax by reading, and yes, we relax by knitting, or we relax by drawing, but that's still doing. It might be doing other things compared to, you know, working or exercising, but just to completely be. Yes, we are here in a shape and we feel sensations, but it is so important and so good for us. But hard to sell. Hard to sell to people that are so far removed from stillness. So I'm very grateful that you are here to recharge, to allow your central nervous system to soften, to explore the parasympathetic part of your central nervous system, as we call it, the rest and recovery mode. And to connect with your breath. I think it's one of the gifts through yoga. Actually breathe, to change the breath a little, to slow down the breath, to get to know your breath, different breathing exercises, exploring breathing in through the nose, breathing out of the mouth, or in and out of the nose, all of these different things. I find the physical body extremely interesting, and I was reading to that, actually listened to the podcast, Emma, that Maradi suggested us. And I learned something totally maybe unimportant, but I thought it was funny and interesting that we smell through our mouth. I was just always convinced that we smell only through our nose. But when we breathe in, it goes to the back of the throat, and a part of your smell actually comes through your mouth. So I just wanted to share you that because it's fun information, but it's also just fascinating how sometimes we think we know, while we don't know really, right? In the right nostril, left nostril has an impact on your brain. All this very interesting and fascinating information. And we can apply that to this moment by just maybe really focusing on whether or not our right or left nostril is more open, that connects you to the breath and subtly connects you to the breath, that you feel the breath enter the nostrils. And some days it's easier to feel that, other days it's harder. Which nostril is more open, which nostril is more closed. Couple more rounds of breath here in stillness, complete stillness. Slowly let go, but keep your figure four. So place your left foot back down onto the mat, but keep your figure four. Make sure you've got space. So the left hand, left side, and then let your lower body come up and over to the left side. The right sole of the foot will touch the floor. And then you have an option here to maybe gently press your right leg with your left, so your left hand is on top of the right leg. So just create a bit of space. Can be close to the hip, can be further away, just to move it away from your chest. Feels a little bit like a massage, creating space in the right groin. We don't want to be too active, so at a certain moment, you can also just let go. Option to place your hands onto your body, so you can connect with your breath, the movement of the chest. And let your hands rest somewhere. They can be next to the body or on the body. Slow breath in. Soft breath out. Where do you feel what? Can you breathe freely and slowly and softly? And one thing I find so beautiful also about stillness is that we get to kind of explore a complete different aspect of ourselves. There is no real place in life where we're physically still, our hands are still, we're breathing, we're awake. It's a new, in a way, for a lot of people, a new, completely new experience. A unique place to connect, and maybe even consciously connect to whatever images come out. A bit of daydreaming, letting images, thoughts, feelings, random things pass by. Notice what passes by. What is taking in a lot of your mental space? Is it work? Is it worries? Is it a house? Is it your cat? Is it your family? Is it nature? And then you can just observe that without really having to change anything. So it's like clouds in the sky. They pass, and then certain topics come back up. You're like, oh, there it is again. Okay, with the exhale, I'm just gonna let it pass like the clouds. And even allowing yourself to kind of give it a name. That's house, that's work, that's cat. And then, okay, there you go. Thank you for being in my awareness, and I'm letting you go. Not holding on to it too much, creating space with every breath. And then maybe something else pops up. A yawn, a sigh. Invite them, let them be there. Take a deep breath in and a nice breath out. Bring your legs back to the center. Oh, just that little adjustment that I did before by pressing the leg away, it brought my hip in a different position and I can feel it. Bring both feet back down towards the floor. Maybe walk them a little bit away so you've got some space. Lifting the hips and just letting them relax softly onto the floor. And there's something quite comfortable in soothing by staying close to the floor. Grounding, supported by your mat. Bless you. And then from here, you can bring your whole entire body over towards the right side of your mat. You're lying on the right side of your mat. We're going to come into Banana Asana. So look at your feet, bring the left foot over to the side. And then relax the feet and cross the right leg. Now, just before you do that, look at your hips. So become aware of your body. Your hip bones are at the same height. There's a levelness of your hips and your bum and your pelvis. Often when we cross the legs, that right bum wants to lift. So that might be that your feet are a little bit too far. So just see, lifting. Even though the feet are crossed, the hips are level. And then from there, you can start to walk your upper body over towards the left side. So you are creating a big C shape, up and over, and then bring the arms even overhead. Shimmy a little bit. I like to lift that left bum and then let it rest, holding onto the opposite wrist or opposite elbow. Can be very comfortable here. Yeah, so tucking my feet into the pants. Very nice. Let's see where we can go. It's too much, you let me know. Sometimes is it too much?
Okay. No,
No?
that's okay.
It's lekker. Okay, I'll do the same for France. You choose to find some lekker. There's a place where you can't go yourself. Is it too much? Sure? You can feel it nicely. Let us see. If it's too much, you just come back. Breathe. C shapes, lateral stretches, side of the body, creativity. Breathe into that right lung. We'll walk off our mat and out of our space a little bit further. Or at least the sensation that we are a little bit further. What can you soften? Maybe your toes, the grip of your hands, the tongue inside your mouth. I also find that the more we spend time with our bodies, we have a conversation with our bodies. Our bodies doesn't really have like words, but there's sensations. The sensations brings a conversation into the mind-body connection. This is nice, this is not nice, this is challenging, this is stretching, whatever words you put on it. It's an internal conversation created through your vessel, the portal of the body. Allowing you to slow down, to feel a little less thinking. Maybe some of your thoughts that were very present in the beginning of class have already kind of, gone to the background. And if you want to give your mind something to do, it is okay to daydream here. You can daydream about a forest, you can daydream about a place on the beach, you can even create your entire imaginary little universe with creatures that do not exist in the real world, but just allowing, it's like a storytelling to self. And it's fun. Returning to that inner child, innocent, lots of fantasies, lots of imagination. That inner child is always in us. And I love awakening the inner child. I sometimes even envision a picture of myself when I was small. And in some ways it allows you to connect back to the fantasies I had. So drawing your attention and your thoughts to that fantasy world. Colors. Is the fantasy world very colorful or maybe black and white, more in a grayish tone? Just observe. And some people's imaginary fantasy world is very rich. I tend to kind of personally just have creatures in there that exist or that exist in Disney movies or something. It's very beautiful when people can completely make up creatures and stories around them. Maybe that's happening to you. How awesome. Sea creatures, land creatures, flying creatures. Allowing your mind to just draw and become into that creative space. Also simultaneously allowing the other thoughts to go to the background. Or maybe they make it was okay. Take one more deep breath in. And then please be gentle when you move out of this. Just come back to the center. Oh, if you can move. Oh, it's a big one, eh? Yeah. Ooh. Some morning here in the center. Take a moment in between and really feel when you lie here, maybe the knees are bent, that the right side really feels different than the left. Feels longer, lighter, spacious. Those are also just words to describe sensations. Oh, nice yawn. Let's go over to the other side. So shimmy your body over towards the left edge of the mat. That's where we start. Hips are level. Walk your right foot over to the side, to the corner. Left leg goes across. I find it easier, even with the right hand, to find my right bum, the buttock, and just slide it, because as soon as I cross, if I'm coming from here and I cross, I lean to the right side. So bringing a little bit of extra meat and then walking over all the way to the other side. Finding your shape, breathing nice and slow. I'll come and give you a little bit extra. Okay, nice. You like it, huh? Oh, you like it. The spaciousness. No, friend is like, be gentle, be gentle. So good. Pleasure. It's nice sometimes to just get adjusted into, but nothing, you don't have to do anything. You can always come out. Such a nice scent. Nice, huh? Yum, 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 yum. Spoiling you, spoiling you. Smells can also do a lot to us and bring up memories. There's certain things that you're like, yeah, I know exactly how it smells. Certain foods, certain places. I mean, you guys know how obsessed I am about Bali. But Bali has a smell. Even Scarborough has a smell. You know, there's places in the, even going into your fantasy world, into the mind, and going to like, oh yeah, when I go to that place, it smells like this, or it's so interesting how the memory works. When I think of my holidays as a child, we often went to south of France, and there were a lot of those pine trees. So it just smelled like, to me, France is pine trees. You know, when I smell pine trees and I close my eyes, it often brings me back to those holidays. I find it so fascinating how that all works. So certain smells can also bring up memories, but other smells are just intuitively, like wood gives us a grounded and safe feeling. Sandalwood smells or Palo Santo smells. It's like soothing, and then this fresh kind of smells. It's all very, very interesting. Keep breathing through those beautiful nostrils, the two nostrils. Maybe a soft breath, even a slight breath through the mouth. You now know that you also taste, also smell through the mouth. Stay with your breath. Send that breath all the way to the left side of the body. Can you soften the jaw? Come back to your beautiful imaginary place, or just again go into that observation of thoughts. No judgment about them, no attachment to them. Allow your breath to be your anchor. You can always come back to that breath, to the movement of the breath, to the slowing down of the breath. You might not know this, but often, well, with the yin practice, you can go and teach yin. This is just teachers talking, right? You can teach yin from a Chinese medicine meridian. You can teach yin or from a place of body parts. But when I chatted to my colleague this week, you know, you can have a dialogue about why you think one thing is better than the other. But the conclusion was, you know what? It's actually the magical thing of yin is that you gift yourself the stillness. And that is the big healing. Of course, we also create space in the fascia, space in the body. but I find the mental, emotional, maybe even spiritual aspects of these practices more important. Yes, we stay open, we stay mobile, we stay flexible, but it's the untouchable, the softness, the gentleness, the stillness, the being that really, really heals us. Take 3 more rounds of breath here. Ooh, yes, it's sometimes the moving out of a shape where you go like, that's the sound, but you know what I mean. It's like, ooh, I'm kind of stuck. Yes, bring both feet onto the mat. The left side, even though you're back in position, you're symmetrical, the left side is probably still talking a lot more than the right. Feels more equal. And then bring your left foot on top of the right thigh, and there we go. Start to bring the lower body in. You can take a little bit of time to settle in. So often when we bring the legs to chest, our focus is very much on our hips, our legs. So now, once you put that into position, can you also just focus a little bit on the upper body? Open, is the chest still open and broad, or have maybe the shoulders rounded upwards? Can you maybe even lift the chest a little and then bring it back down? Chin can come in. Find a comfortable, nice position for your head. And then from that, you know, also the body, you start with the bigger pieces, the right leg, left leg, right arm, shoulder. And then you can go into, okay, what is my tongue doing? What is my jaw doing? Can I soften my ears even though I'm just imagining it? And then come back to that breath. Slow, deep breath. What can I soften energetically? It is a pure gift to gift yourself an hour just being still. We walk off our mats almost a different person as we walked onto it. I know how it feels to be in parasympathetic, right? We know how it feels when you're not stressed and not rushed and not hurrying. And you're just like slower and more present and peaceful in everything you do. Sometimes I wonder, I know it's not a black and white situation, but I'm like, okay, today I'm gonna try to stay in my parasympathetic and not get stressed and not hurrying. And then life happens and that's okay. But just that intention, it's like, it's okay. You can just hang up the washing a little bit slower. You don't have to rush to the next thing. All of that intention setting is enough. I'm a superstar at doing one thing, but being in my head in the next thing. It's like, oh, let me quickly finish this, then I can do that. And then I'm doing that and I'm quickly finishing that so I can do the next thing. So I try to tell myself, be here, do the thing, do it properly, do it slowly. You don't have to rush everything you do, but yeah, it's a practice. It's a practice. And being here allows us to practice that stillness. Breathe, and I'll let you know when it's time to move again. And from here, slowly place your foot back. Take a moment. Create space on the right if there's any props. Make sure you've got space. And then turn the knees over towards the right side. Let them land, then soften your hips. And for a moment, you can use your right hand to massage that left leg away from you. Maybe you're pressing on the thigh, closer to the knee, halfway your leg, and then closer to the hip, kind of walking your hands a little bit up and down the inside of the leg. Find a sweet point. And the extension, the stretching out of the right leg just creates a little space in that left hip joint. You're pressing the one bone and the ball of the femur bone a little bit out of the socket. Be gentle, just create space. Let the tissue soften. Take 2 more rounds of breath here. Almost subtly positioning that hip slightly differently. And then let go, soften, totally melt down and breathe. Visualization, dreaming, imagining. You know, when we were young, we couldn't read, and our mother or our father or our uncle or friends would read a story to us. Yes, often they're pictures in a picture book. But if there weren't any, even the older books, there would be maybe 2 pictures and the rest was just words, but we couldn't read. So everything would be imagined. And we would listen to the same story, but have different images. Where do those images come from? Even if we say the word bird, a bird, we will all see something different. Or the size might be different, the color of the bird might be different, the position of the bird will be different. So a bird is a bird, but a bird is actually not the same thing for all of us. Those are words that we put on images. So allow your fantasy world to sometimes just open up to you. And it helps me to step out of that comfort of like, oh, but this is how it's supposed to look. To color, to take existing things and color them in the, let's say, wrong color. The horses are yellow, and the trees are blue. And then it sometimes just starts to create its own picture because I allow it to be slightly different from what I consider real. I'm just kind of going with that. And slowly take a deep breath in. And a soft breath out. One more time, nice and slow breath in. Soft and long breath out. Bring your legs back to center. Place them down onto the floor. And then roll onto your side. And come to your seat. So we're back into our seats where we started, but on the other side. So Fran, you'll do the right leg. And you'll do the left leg. I think Emma and Paul, you both did like mirror image. So then it would be your left leg coming out to the side. Option to put something under your left knee. Looks very cozy there, Emma. Very cozy and warm. There's something beautiful about the seasons. Something beautiful about winter, even though it's cold and not always easy. That hibernation, slowing down, probably for most of us, less socializing, less movement. I love life to move. You all know me quite well now. You know, the travel, the different projects, the creativity. I love it. But there is something quite beautiful about the energy of winter. Carpe diem, we embrace each season, we embrace each day, we embrace whatever weather comes our way. Soften your shoulders. We started class slightly later, so we'll end it a little bit later as well. So online people, if you want to, at some stage, this is our last shape before Pentacle, before, let's say, our resting pose. But if you want to leave earlier or stay longer, I understand. Journal. I miss my journal. It's been a while. So many rituals. If I would have a choice, I would only do rituals. I would breathe in the morning and then meditate and then journal and then read my historic book and then, at least they're there. An ecology of practices. And some stick around for most of the time, and then others it's like, oh yeah, I miss my journal. I forgot, or I didn't have time, or I prioritized something else or tried something new. But yeah, winter is a beautiful time actually to practice self-care. You allow yourself on the weekends to journal, to be still, to meditate, to take baths, to slow down. To hibernate and reset, to go inwards. Notice the sensations maybe in the back of that extended leg, the lower back, It's also lengthening. Stay with your breath, allowing your diaphragm to open and stretch. Your heart rate to slow down a little. To soften the jaw, the muscles in the skin, and the fascia of your face. The tension that builds up, let it just slide away. On the next inhale, slowly roll back up. And then yes, make sure you're warm. You can cover yourself also with a blanket. But coming to your final resting pose. A bolster can be placed under the legs. And just be still. Last little yawn, it's coming up. Nice. And as I mentioned before, online yogis, if you want to just, you don't have to get up when we get up, or if you already want to leave the meeting, so you can just chill as long as you want, do so. And from there, slowly take a deep breath in. And just notice how you feel. Noticing how you feel throughout the day, your own energy, without judging about it. It's just like, oh, I feel good, I feel stressed, I feel it's difficult to connect with my breath, I feel calm. Helps us to navigate life from a more connected place. And if this is what heals and soothes us, then let's invite more of this into our day-to-day life, even if it's 5 minutes a day. Seated, still, breathing, closing the eyes. It works. You can bring a little bit of movement back into the body because we have a lovely evening ahead of us. And let's try to stay into that soft place. Yeah, or stretch. Like how you both put your legs up. Hug the knees into chest. A little rock and roll from right to left. It's quite playful. And then come onto your side and back up into a seated position. Can you let your shoulders be heavy, almost like there's weights? If you've got a weighted shoulders, and they're like, oh, they kind of hang down and away from the ears, which lift your chest. One more slow, deep breath in. And a nice, soft, long breath out. Option to bring the hands together to close the practice. Your meaning to whatever this means to you, whether it's a closing, a moment of connection, prayer, gratitude. You make your own rituals meaningful to you. Beautiful to spend the evening together, to slow down. And thank you for being here, both online and here in Scarborough. Namaste. A shift of energy. Wonderful. It's getting darker, eh?